All right. So do you want to bring us in here?
I'll bring you guys in here. So you went to this is Delta Green session 20. And when we last left off with our Delta Green agents, they were at the Turville Mall to meet and rendezvous with Delta Green to debrief them on what the situation has been with the Dorchester house. And since they had been uh, put on a mission that doesn't exist, and Operation India Moon, with a handler that is not part of
Doesn't
Delta
exist.
Green, right? Some things have transpired since then, that original call, but the rendezvous has been made. You guys go out there, notice that there's a box truck outside, and you approach the truck, and a gunfight starts and begins. And some of the assailants that come from the box truck loading things in and out of the mall that seems to be abandoned for years go inside the mall, but not before you guys notice in the vehicle that there are cases of night vision goggles that are empty, and a manifest that belongs to a particular person that signed for the rental agreement for the van. But you decide to go into the mall to investigate and rendezvous with your contact. And in so doing, ambushed. But as that occurred, a gong rings out, tambourines and drums start to play, and small children dressed in little
Man.
costumes begin dancing around and coming towards you while gunfire rings out in the empty mall from above, the level above. You guys exchange gunfire. Maya's hit critically and blown backwards and bleeding out on the floor of this abandoned mall. Three sections of the mall are fenced off, um, and there's a fountain in the middle. And as Mantillo goes to assist the maybe unconscious body of Maya, Agent Viper takes C4, runs into the fountain and plants the C4 in an effort to create an explosion and run out of the mall. And that's where we left off, I believe. Did I miss any details?
Many, but I don't think you missed anything that matters.
About how
Clear.
good Viper shooting got that he like crit headshot someone in the dark.
That's right.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there.
Had Mantillo reached Maya and put her on her shoulder?
Yes.
I think.
Yep. Yeah. Mantilla was
Yeah.
moving down the hallway.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
remember.
made my way through the incorporeal dancing clown children.
Yep. To
Tried
explode.
to hit one with the butt of my rifle. Went through it.
Right. That's right. Oh yeah,
Failed-
you actually lost your
Failed my check, but
Right,
took
that's why the
6
C4
sanity damage, and then slung the rifle over my shoulder, and went for the C4.
Yep.
But I think Mantillo, the only detail I would add is I think Maya, Sean, if you'll allow it, at the moment is like semi-conscious. She like grunts and groans and she's in obvious pain and there's blood everywhere.
Oh, there's a
as you put
streak
her on
of
your
blood
shoulder.
where she
Yep.
dragged you
Yep.
away.
Exactly. And now your clothing is drenched as well.
Yep.
She's actively bleeding.
The explosion takes place. C4 is planted. Agent Viper detonates it. Explosion behind you. Rubble is strewn across the mall. You could hear it pitter patter down onto the floor. As all three of you make your way out of the mall, I would imagine back the way you came, or you could go through the front doors of the mall that are closed.
Actually, yeah. No, I
more
think I'd go
direct.
out the way we came because I know those doors are open.
Okay.
That's an open path. Yeah.
It has 13 minutes before you make first aid, so there's
Yeah,
no.
I'm not worried. I'm going to give you 12 and a half before I roll.
Great. Never tell me the odds.
That's right.
Let me ask a couple of questions that might matter depending on what happens. Did Maya leave the M4 behind? I suspect so. Like the gun's probably back on the ground. right?
Unless you had a shoulder strap.
I don't think so. I don't think she had to
okay.
describe you're putting one on, so it's on the ground. Okay.
Oh, because it was somebody else's. That's right. You
It
took
was,
somebody
it
else's.
was someone else's gun. Yep, exactly.
That makes sense.
Okay.
You start heading towards the door that you came through to enter the mall. And as you get closer and closer, there's sounds behind you, but they start to fade a bit into the distance, even though it's not that
I think
far
it's
and
real.
gunfire is really loud and it echoes, but it seems to quiet. As you approach the door, exiting the mall, there were lights outside that kind of shone up around the immediate area. But it seems that, or it appears that there are reflections going on, bouncing off the walls in different colors. Red and blue seems to be, you could see on the outside as it hits the external walls that kind of make up this loading, shipping, and receiving area of the mall. Trucks would come in there, like when you guys were going in, trucks would come in, back up to these doors, and basically drop off retail merchandise for these stores in the mall. And so as you head towards that door, you could see those reflections.
So that's obviously police or something. That feels like sirens to me. I will break to the right and go find some closet, a cover, something behind a bunch of boxes, whatever, some area that's off to the side and somewhat hidden from the outside doors and from the hallway.
Yeah, so the door that comes out is more of a 90-degree angle from kind of where Viper's vehicle was. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you come out that door and look to your immediate left, there's the box truck. Okay, like the end of the box truck. So you have cover, and then if you go back out kind of further from the door, then obviously the box truck, the end of it is open, and then you can see out towards the field or the parking lot that once was. Okay. That's kind of what the scenario or the situation looks like. So you could feasibly come out of the door and hug the wall to your left and make your way towards that box truck.
Okay, that sounds good. I like that.
Or you could make your way to the right, which kind of hugs the wall and goes around deeper into this kind of half oval.
But as I come out, I don't see any sirens anywhere. I just see reflections sort of here and there.
Correct. So you exit the mall. Viper, what are you doing? You're probably coming up behind Mantillo.
Yeah, so I was following
quick.
behind, shaking plaster concrete fountain dust off of me. When I look over my shoulder, are the dancing clown kids gone, or in the flurry of dust and debris?
You don't happen to see any.
Okay.
They're not on your tail, and it's
okay.
Yeah, there's dust.
Well, that's just good for my sanity because I was gonna do whatever needed to be done to get rid of those things.
Sure. And with Mantillo and Maya kind of, Mantillo helping Maya, it doesn't take very long for you to catch up. Like it's, you're a single person. So
yeah, I literally am following the streak of blood as she's being carried on.
Aren't you going to ask what I'm doing? I bleed, Sean. I bleed. That's what I'm doing.
Let me hold on a second.
I'm gonna take notes there.
Maya.
Yes. Maya bleeds.
Bleeding.
I should make a luck check to see if we pass a blood donor in the mall.
Of course. Right. Yes.
The refrigerator's still on.
A pop-up Red Cross donation.
So I feel like the thing to do, because I think we left it all open and we have the keys, is to lay Maya down in the back of the box truck and crawl in after her. And then when I see Viper, maybe you can drive. I'll see what I can do here for Maya. And then I will bring the back door down and get whatever lights I can get on and see what I can figure out for Maya there. I know we've got boxes. Maybe we've got tissue paper. We'll see what I can rig up for some sort of first aid.
So I'll close the truck door as she drags her in there, and I'll make my way to the driver's seat of the truck.
So as you come out of the mall, I picture it like Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
Maya's bleeding. You guys are, controlled panic and trying to get out of the mall and the situation. As you approach the truck, you could see off to the edge, out not too far in the distance, 6 squad cars. 6 squad cars. 6, yeah, 6. Maybe more. It's hard to say. But headlights pointed towards the mall, but yet still with the red and blue flashing. Spotlights, of course, pointed towards the mall.
I throw my bag in the passenger seat. I'm happy I did not shoot out any of the tires of the truck.
That's great. You did try, and the lights are out.
I tried. The one light is out.
One light is out.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're in the dark. It's a good spot to hide.
I turn the truck on. I do not turn the headlights on. But what I do, I screw on the rifle grenade to my rifle
in the cab of the truck.
And I know that we parked the Durango on the road leading into this section of the mall. So the police will have to go near the Durango as they come in. So these are thoughts that are going through my mind.
Okay. There's a voice that rings out from a speaker out in the distance. And Mantillo, you specifically recognize the voice.
Uh-oh.
And you hear them call you by name, not Agent Mantillo. They call you by Samantha Perez.
Ooh.
As a matter of fact, they don't even actually use your last name, this individual.
Samantha.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this dude, this fake dude, my fake buddy.
No. You recognize it as your brother. Jorge.
Oh, my brother.
Your brother.
Oh, shit.
Jorge, yep. And it says, Sam. His voice seems calm.
Okay.
Considering. And calls out, Sam, this is Jorge. This is your brother, Lieutenant Perez, the Boston Police Department.
Slide the little door open to the back.
I think that's been open, yeah, between us.
Or if it's already open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look back and I see, I don't know if you're doing this by like flashlight or mag light.
The flashlights going, yeah, mag lights, I feel like.
Yeah, again, I just see blood everywhere.
Convulsing, twitching, some gurgling.
So I feel like I stop for a half second, and then I am for the moment focusing on Maya here, who's about to die.
Sure.
And I've not heard, like, there's no action item out there. I'm being talked to, and there's something going down. But I've got shit to do before I can think about giving myself up.
Okay.
I'm not sure I will. But
you see the tip of the barrel of my gun with the rifle grenade on it next to my head.
Yeah.
And I look in, I'm like, do we need a distraction?
Don't shoot my brother.
I'm not going to shoot your brother. I just want to know if we need a distraction.
You deal. Shut up. And I get back to my
All right. As you do that, the voice is, calls out. I know you're there. This can end peacefully. He calls back. I'm coming in.
This is my brother still talking?
This is your brother talking. Yep.
What did he say about Boston PD? He said it's Jorge.
Yep, this is Jorge. He says, this is Lieutenant Perez. It's your brother, Jorge. The Boston
He has
Police
nothing to do with
Department.
the Boston PD. Okay, there's some weird shit going down.
Is Jorge within 30 feet of the Durango?
Of the Durango? No.
Edwin, Jorge has the bike shop, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he runs the bike shop with me. He is not a lieutenant with
the kill radius of the rifle grenade is 10 meters.
I would picture them more front on to the not front on, side, like completely facing the side of the box truck from obviously a distance.
Yeah.
The Durango I picture a little further, maybe up ahead of them.
I don't want to explode near their car, but if it's behind them or to the side and it makes them all duck or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is going to happen then.
Okay. And if you look out to even peek a glance out towards the voice that's calling, it's a little hard to see given the lights behind him. And there's an individual walking by himself in front of, cop cars with what appears to have police members of the police department on their hoods with their doors open, looking through the cracks from the jams of the doors from the squad cars. And he's walking up towards very slowly with a loudspeaker in one of his hands.
One of them, they have bullhorns.
Bullhorns, yeah.
Well, I'm taking what Mantillo said to light and just wanting to get out of the situation. So I'm gonna roll down the driver's side window.
Okay.
And stick this rifle out of it.
So
you can't see us. You're fine.
The driver's side window.
Yeah.
Of the box truck.
Of the box truck, and I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna use that the window ledge
with the rifle grenade.
With the rifle grenade on it. They see it slow motion. You see it come out. You see the rifle grenade, and then looks like
so dark. It's pitch black, man. It's awesome.
And I am aiming at the Durango.
Okay.
It says 200-meter range.
Okay. I'm sure it's within 200 meters. It's a pretty good distance. So I picture
to use this for weeks.
I'm not going to tell you what my my ability score is for it.
Are you shooting through the van? Like the passenger, the driver's side would be closest to the ball.
Oh, the driver's. Oh, I always thought it was parked the other way. My entire brain envisioned it. So then, no, I'm going to shoot through the passenger side.
Right.
Towards the Durango. I'm sorry. I always envisioned it the other way.
From the inside of the cabin. I kind of know what you're trying to do.
It's all right. I got it. Yes. Yeah. Whichever window is towards the Durango.
Yeah. If you're going to let her rip, let her rip.
That's it. I'm going to let her rip. He's coming. I don't want him to get injured, so I don't want him to get any closer. Okay. And I need them all to just be distracted so I can hit the gas.
That's
wow.
Okay.
So let's do this.
Critical failure.
Damn it.
77.
Should not be buying those antique grenades
that go off in the cab.
Wow. Did I say the door was open between the cab and the back? I meant it was closed.
No.
So many options.
Edwin, you're just going to hear a whoom, and then the truck just stops.
It's like no truck, no front of the truck.
Oh dear.
This is not how I planned it.
I bet it is actually.
Well, I can.
Skill was 50. Pretty good skill.
I thought I was going to do it. I thought I had a.
You had a 50-50 shot at it, huh?
Dear.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No, not critical fail. No,
much like many of these sessions. I'm trying to think of what I could have happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the cab's gonna blow up. I think that's a little.
You think it's just a post Cold War dud?
Wow, that would be way too easy.
That would be way too easy.
I mean, I like to think that I'm fair, but I'm not that crazy.
Not that fair.
Yeah, not that far. I would say that as you are maneuvering and trying to get this thing in there, it goes off inadvertently, and it hits the ground right in front of the van.
All right.
Well, that's
Good thing it
distraction.
wasn't the
There's no doubt about
incendiaries.
You have essentially a small crater.
Crater.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean it's
And I'm sure pebbles and rocks blew out the radiator too. And
Right.
liquid is just pouring on the
Right.
ground.
The van is now inoperable.
right. Yeah. So nobody's dying because of your critical failure.
I look back in the
Might all be
door.
dying because of that.
I look
critical
in.
failure.
You hear this explosion. You saw what I was gonna do, and you hear it like next to the van.
Yeah.
You know something went wrong. You're
So, yeah, I feel like the next scene is Mantillo like lying on Maya, in that sort of defensive, like something's happening, we don't know
Like,
what, but like
you're shooting at us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I say. I yell back. I'm like, they got rocket propelled grenades. They're shooting at us.
How much
I'm
damage
dead.
would that have done
Can't hear
there,
shit.
Lou?
Lethal.
It's
2d10, right?
yeah, 15% lethality.
You roll percentile dice and you add them if you don't get below 15.
Yeah.
The reason I say is like, okay, maybe puts a big crater in front of the van or and then renders it, I think that's enough. Otherwise, I was going to blow out the windshield too. That would be fun.
No, it's hey, it was anti-personnel, so it would have had shrapnel everywhere. It's not an incendiary one. So
the windshield
There's
is
your tires.
spider webbed.
Yeah,
for sure.
But the tires are definitely
10-meter kill radius. So yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I look back in the window.
Stand down! Hold your fire! Like, hold your fire!
Mantillo, I'm okay.
I get up slowly and go back to work.
All right. So what are you doing, Mantillo?
So this was a single shot that hit like an artery or something.
I described it as like at least 3 wounds, but one of which is potentially mortal, like leg, shoulder, but somewhere in the torso. And I think your roll will determine how bad that was or wasn't.
Right?
Can she be saved or not?
So yeah, so I am. I mean, Edwin knows nothing about this, but I am doing probably looking for some way of stopping the bleeding, getting my belt and the bandage, cloth, and staunching the blood and tightening whatever tourniquet, whatever it is I need to do here to
stopping the blood flow basically.
Is keep the blood inside instead of letting it go outside.
Air Force veteran Samantha Perez would know that to do first aid, get a wad of gauze and apply pressure and take a belt and you can.
And I'm going to ignore all the stuff about checking the airways, checking the spine. Like
I'm saying, like
right over those.
Tourniquet probably.
Exactly.
It might be if it's a limb, that's probably she'll probably end up losing it in order to prevent her from bleeding out.
Yep. And I think there's a lot of adrenaline there. So however tight that tourniquet needs to go, it's going to get that tight.
Yeah. Well, you don't go loose on a tourniquet.
Exactly. So you ready?
I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready.
I got the crap.
Can't see the thing here. Oh, not good.
An 84, which is a
84
failure.
Not good. Not critical, but I grabbed the wrong wound.
Edwin, she's grabbing at your arm as you're trying to work on her, and she's starting to cry. She can't breathe. She's choking on the blood in her throat.
Oh man.
She's just looks at you and she has words that she wants to say and she can't get them out.
Yeah, I think Mantillo leans down and sort of tilts you up, and then it's just like, I'm sorry. And
by the time you get her tight. Yeah, by the time you get her tilted up, her head's just down.
Yep.
She's gone.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you got emergency services potentially
There's one roll. You only get one roll.
Oh,
Yeah. If first aid fails, the victim dies and may not be resuscitated. That was the shot.
okay. Interesting. All right.
No matter what the GM says.
Well, that's fair enough. He has the final say. And if you want the cult to like raise dead, I'm here for that.
Hey, I thought this game was raw. That's it.
That's right.
All day, every day.
I don't mean to oppose that, Sean, but I'm letting you know what the rule is.
Fair.
You do what you're going to do.
All right.
I feel like we should be doing not RAW raw, but RAU raw, which is rules as understood.
Rules as I thought.
I've heard
badly understood.
Just rules. We're not sure which rules or anything.
For what game?
We're using some rules.
All right.
Yeah, so I think Mantillo is between the being basically deafened and just completely shocked about like trying to figure out this weird, like my brother's not in the police and Viper's trying to blow us up and Maya has just died, which did not seem possible because Maya, of all people, cannot die. I think barring a major effort, Mantillo is there until whatever happens. Like in the back of the truck, arms wrapped around Maya, squeezing her hand.
I look down, I look back through, and I see the scene. Right.
Yep.
Like, so I am now grounded in the scene of what just happened. I know I don't have a history of both of them as much, but I know.
I mean, you've been to her house.
Yeah, but
made her breakfast.
I wore her apron.
Exactly. I don't know how much closer you could be.
I see what's going on. I look out the spiderweb windshield. I see maybe Mantillo's brother walking up. I see the police. I see them breaking the shotguns out after the explosion. Doors open, them hiding behind the doors like an old 70s cop movie. And where I am, where these loading docks are, we're not against the loading docks, correct?
You're not.
There's no dock.
No.
All right. Is it like higher or no? It's just flat ground.
No, it's just flat ground where they do the lift from the truck up and down to unload stuff. They're just back doors to this. Suites. Yeah.
You hear me rev the motor.
I rev the motor. Truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was already on. I turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
I rev the motor, making sure like it's not about to overheat. I am positive that the front of it is blasted out. And I put in reverse. And I gun it back towards the building, towards the loading dock.
Okay. And
I'm sitting there, and since I can't see out the front windshield, I can see out the side mirror.
Sure.
And I am gunning it back towards the building, towards the door that we went into, to like back the back of the truck up to that door.
Okay.
Because I don't think the police thing is an option right now. Well, I do that. I just gun it, and I'm going to smash into the building with the back with the door.
You
Yeah, I hope you hit the doors and not the.
Give me a.
You want a drive check?
Give me a drive check, yeah, man.
Let's see if you hit the doors or hit the corner of the building.
Do we get any bonuses for driving backwards with a box truck at night in the dark?
I mean, many a bonuses for sure.
Oh shit! I thought that was gonna be.
I don't need to impose any penalties this evening. It looks like.
So no, you do not.
63 is a failure.
I saved all my bad rolls for session 20. That's what I do.
That's awesome. Well, except for the ones from session 18.
Yeah, well, we don't. I mean, no one really cares.
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
It's you hit the reverse and it goes backwards. It probably turns in a direction you didn't anticipate. So,
Yeah.
your goal is to smash into the mall.
I hit like a curb or a railing or something.
When
That's
you're
like,
dragging the front end, right, with the flat, you got a
yeah,
rear-wheel drive truck. You're
I may
dragging
have blown out one of the front tires.
the
Yeah.
radiator's like
Yeah.
steaming.
Yes.
It's a freaking mess. So you're barely getting it anywhere that it needs to go. So the box truck, is jolting you, Mantillo, but you feel it move backwards. Are you still looking to? Okay, holding Maya.
I got her. I got her.
It sounds like you're, so at this point, I would say like the box truck kind of swerves the front end out and looking, right? So you guys are like seeing the police in front of you out through the spider windshield. Okay. And through the cracks of the windshield, you can see that lone individual still walking up slowly. He's got a bullhorn in one hand, but he doesn't seem armed in his other hand. And he's slowly walking towards the box truck.
I can't see any of that. He's not talking anymore.
He would be every once in a while he would say like just there's enough damage here. There's people that are, we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's my brother, verbally, orally.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, with the lights from the box truck,
I can't see out the front. I'm in
well,
I'm
you
lying
can't
down in the back,
you're in
so
the
I can't
back.
see anything. Yeah.
But Viper, you see this guy out in front of the truck. Probably 60 feet out.
How far did we back up? Just like 2 or 3 feet, or did we make it like a 10-foot and then we ran into something?
I would say it's at probably at least 10 feet. Yeah, you moved.
Okay, so there was a.
Oh yeah.
So I think there's a big jolt, and then there's a talk. I think she gets up. Mantillo gets up, just covered in blood, and attempts to open the back door of the truck from inside. Lift up the roll door.
Opens up.
What does she see out the back?
You see
flat on the wall of the.
No, it's he.
Yeah.
No.
I missed the door and I just walked up to a blank spot.
No, I would imagine that you see probably like a garbage dumpster out to your left, maybe 5 or 10 feet, and then the kind of the circular part of this little loading dock space. You could probably go out and there's a concrete wall around, and it goes back to the entrance that you entered the mall into. So,
do I think there's a way to get away from the cops where they can't see me?
You may be able to go deeper back into this area where it's a little more shadowed, because obviously they're they've got lights on the box truck which casts a shadow back beyond. So you would be basically being further away from them in a linear fashion.
But I can't go in either direction to actually get away.
You could try going out the back to the left and maybe hover like closer to the building, but you would risk being seen. They have a lot of lights on you guys.
I think Mantillo crawls out of the truck. She's not injured. She gets out of the truck. Yep. She looks in again at Maya, and she looks around for a little while, sort of looks at the lighting situation, and then she goes and climbs into the dumpster, which I assume is completely in the shadows.
Yep.
And brings the door down after her.
Okay.
And she's just going to sit there and cry for a while.
I hear the door obviously roll up and feel it. And I get out of the truck with my bag.
Going out one of the front cab exits, passenger driver side? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to go out.
Okay.
I try not to make any aggressive moves towards the gentleman walking this way.
Okay.
But I make my way around to the back of the truck. And then I look in and I see the full scene of Maya sitting in there. And I'm trying. I'm staring at Maya. I'm staring at the door into the thing. I turn back towards the guy walking slowly, and I'm trying to put my Delta Green hat on right now and say, do I leave Maya's body in the back of the truck? Or
Oh, you didn't mean literally. I was literally picturing you trying to get out a hat and put it
He
on
has
your
a
head.
hat. I never got a hat.
I know. I never got a hat. I'm like, what the hell? You got a
Jesus.
little green
I
triangle
put on
on
my
it?
I put on my policeman's uniform, and I pretend I'm like one of them. I'm like, hey, this truck was parked here. I don't know. I'm one of you.
I got everything under control. I got him right here at gunpoint.
I know they closed them all down 15 years ago, but I just got off duty.
But I'm in the what would Delta Green do kind of mentality at the moment, because this is a total mess.
And you're out of rifle grenades. Otherwise, we know what you'd do.
I have flashbangs still.
Okay.
So, and I don't see Mantillo, right? I come around the back and she's gone.
You might have heard like the garbage
like
lid,
a bang of the
depending
dumpster.
on how quiet Mantillo was, but you don't see her.
So
much equipment. None of it's useful.
It's all useful. It's just when you roll, man. I'm having this inclination. I think I'm just going to go with my gut that
do it.
I need to go in and grab Maya's body, like, carrying injured soldier style, and go into the building. Because I need time. I need to think. I need to figure out what we're doing.
Okay.
And I also figure that it's going to be in the open, and it'll probably draw attention away from Mantillo and possibly the dumpster, because I realize Mantillo I don't want to give away her position. So that's what I'm going to do.
She might have gone into the mall and she might have just banged on the dumpster on her way by. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's literally what I'm going to do. I got to figure this out, and I grab her body, I sling it over my shoulder, grab her two arms, and have my bag, and then make my way out of the back of the truck. And I glance over my shoulder and I see her possible brother still walking up. We lock eyes. He sees I have someone. I'm sure he could tell the body's limp around what I'm doing. But I don't have like a gun in my hand, just the bag. And I make my way towards the mall door as quickly as I can.
Okay. You do see him. You do see, and he's a bit closer than you even expected, but still, not overly close. Probably like 40 feet away from you.
I also like the fact that I'm drawing him away from everybody else. So maybe once I'm in a position that I feel I have the upper hand in the mall, maybe I feel I could maybe then have a discussion with this person.
Sure.
Because they're not with the rest of the police force.
He actually doesn't yell through the blowhorn since he's so close to you. He just he yells out, just hold on, freeze, just freeze.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to go down like this.
All right. So as soon as I get through the door, I'll put Maya's body just down, against as gingerly as I can, and not in a way that I'm disgracing her body, but like almost leaning her against the wall. And I'll look back out through the door. I definitely have my Beretta in my hand though, and I'll say, "What's all this about?"
And you're talking back to the
I'm right out the door, like half kind of standing,
sure.
Pistol in my hand, out of sight, so I don't, I'm not like aggressively with a weapon. He may assume my posture,
right?
And knowing that I probably am armed, but yell out, "What's this all about?"
We We need everybody just to calm down. There's a safe space that we have for you. This is not how things have to go down. And you hear this, Mantillo. This is your brother talking to
No, it's not.
apparently Jerry or
my brother is
Viper.
not a lieutenant in the Boston Police Department.
Well, he's not even. Is he dressed as a police officer?
He would be in like Lieutenant Boston PD.
He would be plain clothes.
Okay.
But he'll have a badge around, like he's got like a chain around his neck with a badge that appears to be a badge hanging from his neck.
Can I make a human check to see if this seems legit to me?
Sure.
Because I would have done research on all of them because they were with Jerry. So I knew them. I knew they had a brother. Maybe I wasn't intimately familiar with them, but
right.
I want to see if this is really
No,
legit.
you were not. Just so we're clear.
Not in that intimate way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Failure.
I'm a
62
mess. I'm a mess.
You're rattled.
You're not sure.
I am.
You're not sure.
I don't remember him being the way he's talking like an officer, or someone of authority. I don't remember him. He's just a grease monkey, right? Working on the motorcycles. I'm not sure.
Just about it.
Or were they police motorcycles? Who knows? You're not sure.
Well, what's his name? Is it Jose? No.
Jorge.
Officer Perez.
Oh, Officer Perez.
Officer Perez, yeah.
Yeah, Officer Perez or whoever you are. I mean, how did you even know we were here?
This is the incident at the Dorchester house. Look.
And you knew we were here at the mall.
We just want everything to come to a peaceful conclusion. We don't need all of the chaos. We're here to help you.
That does not sound good. My mind's racing. I don't know my next play. I know further in this mall is gunfire and creepy clowns. I know I have a body that I need to somehow remove from the situation so that there aren't questions about her and her involvement in this. And that I got an MIA potential partner who I'm talking to, her brother that may not be her brother. If he makes any steps even closer to the door, I'm just going to say, that's far enough. I need to think this through. And what is this safe place that you're talking about?
He's like, we're gonna take you home. We're gonna take you home. Everything will be fine. I'm gonna cut to Maya. So Maya,
yeah,
Maya, you hear this? You feel rattle.
Maya
or Mantillo?
Maya. You feel this rattling,
awesome.
And you kind of vibrate, and you're barely in and out of consciousness. Like as you're looking out, you see lights go by along your vision as you look up, and it's hard for you to breathe. And somebody is holding your hand. And it's just like you hear somebody say, BP, 50/20, sustained injury to upper torso, right leg, and left arm. Looks like a female, age. Let's see. How old are you? When were you born?
She's in her 40s. I can look it up. Hang on.
You were born in 1995 minus 43.
43. Yep, 43.
Well, that was in 95 or no, now.
No, that's now.
Right. So so that would have made you, let's see, hold on a second.
No, she's in her 40s now. She was in her 20s in the 90s.
Yeah, she was young.
Game.
Right.
Sorry, she was adapted to violence in 1995. Are my notes? It's well, the note I got, Sean, regardless, says she was 43. She is now 43 years old. She was born in 1972.
Born in 72.
Yep. She was 21 during that first mission in 90.
Like we have female, approximate age 48. We have her coming in, major gunshot wounds, lots of loss of blood. And as you kind of look around you, there are people. It looks like an individual in a white coat and with a mask on, with a stethoscope. And then there are two other people with like, what are they? The head covers. They look like emergency personnel from a hospital is what you're gathering. And there's like, rattling of this bed that you're on going through gurney. Yeah. And then you hear somebody just weeping and crying. And you notice that you recognize the voice. She's like, "Oh my God, hang on. How I can't believe this has happened. We should have gotten you more help. I just don't." And you recognize the voice as Eloise.
Oh, okay. That puts a little bit of a smile on Maya's pained, exhausted face.
And you hear the doctor or somebody, an individual that says, I'm sorry, ma'am, we have to take her back. She's like, but can I go back with her? And he says, I'm sorry, only family. She's like, I'm her ex-wife.
I can't tell if you wanted my reaction to that, Sean, or not.
Well, there might not be much of a reaction given your current condition.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Well, however, I will say this. In my background, like, does Maya think they were married? Because they were not married in the background.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. So then there's just some confusion on her face as she's being wheeled away.
Yeah.
Married.
Unless you think it's a fantasy because it's something maybe you always wanted that you never.
Mm-hmm. Certainly is. She wouldn't leave.
Always wanted an ex-wife.
She wouldn't leave her. Yeah, she wouldn't leave her.
I always wanted an ex-wife. That's not what I meant. I meant the marriage part. I always wanted to pay alimony.
And you hear the doors, like you hear two doors that they kind of bust you through, and then you hear a bunch of chaos going on. There's other people that have entered the room. A couple people have exited. They are ripping apart your clothes, and then they're attaching things to your body. You can kind of feel some of those. And then they have the oxygen mask over your face, and you suddenly you can hear the steady beep, of a heart monitor.
Did she say anything at all?
Can Maya?
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, you can attempt.
The mask is going on her.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of, her eyes were like, dilated.
They're talking to you like, ma'am, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
She's trying to look past the doctors, and she's like, Ellie, what happened to us? What happened to us? She's just in this like haze of not knowing what's real, what's not real, not knowing what happened to her. That's all. I wanted to put that out there.
Okay. Just calm down, ma'am. We're gonna fix you right up. You're gonna be okay. Can you hear my voice? Squeeze my hand if you can hear me.
He squeezes.
Okay. All right. Response. We've got response. Roger, okay. Sounds good. Mantillo, back to you in the garbage dumpster.
Yeah, so Mantillo's had a minute or two to sort of collect herself. And I'm assuming this dumpster is completely empty because it's been so many years, but who knows what's in here. Um, she she pulls out her gun and checks to make sure it's loaded and ready. And she basically is turning to sort of with her back to the back of the dumpster and her knees up and her gun sort of braced with her two arms pointed up to shoot whatever face opens that lid of the dumpster. Possibly not if it's Viper. Like she's
Luck roll 50-50.
He is trying. He's trying hard. He is.
yeah, no, absolutely no. But she is feeling so like she's just completely cornered right now, and kind of blames herself. But so she's the cat ready to strike.
Okay.
And she's listening to this man that she knows is not her brother talking, and the sound of that voice that she knows so well is just really pushing on. I think in her head, like she's not moving her hands, but she's tracking that voice as if she was getting ready to aim and shoot.
Okay. I would picture where you are in the dumpster and where Viper is directly across from each other.
Okay.
And as the person that is talking, your brother kind of gets between you. He may not know you're in the dumpster, but regardless, he's standing between you and Viper. And Viper, you see this individual a little more clearly now because there is a little bit of lighting. You guys didn't shoot all the lights out from the mall. And he's standing out the door. He's got he puts the bullhorn, down onto the ground. And he's like, I am armed, but I don't have my weapon drawn. I want this to be resolved peacefully.
When I look over,
for Pete's sakes, my sister is involved. I can get everybody help. Nobody else has to get hurt. I just need you to come out without any weapons drawn. Is Sam in there with you?
She has lowered her gun a little bit so that it's basically pointed right where she thinks he is.
Okay.
Through the side of the dumpster.
Okay. I'd say he's like equidistant, like he's right in between you guys. So probably 30 feet from Mantillo, 30 feet from Viper.
So I flippantly just say, of course she is. And I look inside and I look at Maya's body. And I look back. I'm like, I don't think she wants to talk to you, whoever you are. Do I see, when I look past him, do I see any other movement, anything happening with the police officers in the back?
No. You know that they're there, but you don't see any other movement kind of off to your left.
Do you have a blowgun, a blow dart, something real quiet? Come on, I know you've got some poison, some blow dart with poison on it that'll just drop him.
I don't need it. I have 80% hand-to-hand combat. So if it gets close enough.
A broken hip. That's awesome.
What an awesome combination.
Sam, I know you're in there. Come on out. It's been a little while, but it hasn't been that long. Remember when we used to fix bikes at your motorcycle shop? Wind through our hair when we'd ride. Come on, Sam.
She thinks about this for a while, and
remember all the good times with mom and dad.
She reaches into her shirt pocket and pulls out her phone and looks at the date.
You look at the date.
Yep.
Give me a sanity check.
All right.
As ever.
Okay.
All
right. It's what date is it? Very good question. 2015, right? August 2015. If I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since the day has changed in this campaign.
$2015. Okay, so the year is correct. I think she is going to send a smiley face emoji text to her brother and listen like the Dickens.
Ew.
Okay. And yeah, somebody was going to say something.
Yeah, Viper. He's got ideas. You know how this goes. So, does Viper know she's in the dumpster?
I don't know. I guess.
How about an easier question? Do I know she's in the vicinity somewhere?
Yeah, you would find it hard to believe that she ran off without somebody seeing her.
I didn't hear footsteps running. I didn't
Right.
hear anything.
Right.
Can I make an alertness check to know if she's in the dumpster?
Sure.
I was going to offer up, and I'll do this. This is a sort of an opposed thing, but in the other sort of a bad way for Mantillo. But what I was realizing, Mantillo is covered in blood. So I was going to roll stealth, which I suck at, to see if there was a random chance that I did not get the outside of the dumpster covered in blood, as I was calling it. Does that seem reasonable?
I mean, are you wanting to leave a trace behind, or?
No, I would not want to, but I'm not sure.
You're just thinking in the chaos of not.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like that I was wrapped around her. I was like,
there's no way you wouldn't leave prints.
Yeah, right.
It would be like she would have had. I mean, it's possible that she lucked out, but it's the way she got in the dumpster or something.
Maybe I glance over his shoulder, Jorge's shoulder, and I see like a bloody handprint.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
On the side of the dumpster, like where she would have climbed it.
Sure. Yeah, I think by just natural observation, if you were trying to figure out where Mantillo might be, you could conclude that the dumpster may be.
Yeah, it was something that's within 20 feet of where we were or whatever.
You don't see her over there. She obviously didn't go towards the police, so she has to be somewhere in here. And there's a dumpster.
I know it's hard to believe, but Viper's pretty cocky. And he knows his combat skills. Maybe not as good as his firearm and demolition skills, but he knows his combat skills.
He's awesome with a grenade launcher.
And he realizes that, Jorge came, down by himself, and this is the arena that he's good at. And now that I know that Mantillo is here, has been listening, I think I'm going to leave my Beretta on the ground in there and walk out with the intention of subduing him. I don't know if I have to persuade him or try to I don't know what this is all about. You need to explain more to me and go from there.
I think if you're going to do it, and that is your intention, I'm not overly concerned with it. But if your intention is to try to say, hey, I'm going to make them think I'm all calm and going to give up, but I'm really not, then I would probably say it's worth a roll to see if he believes
I honestly would rather just go all commando. And if he's close enough, if I think I can jump him, if he's that close. But I don't know. I mean, relatively, how close is he to the door? And
yeah, I would allow you to creep up to him, and if you get to a certain point and you want to lunge at him and surprise him, then sure, absolutely.
That's what I want to do.
Okay, then give me maybe a persuade check.
My God,
51 is a failure. So he is a little on edge, right? Like you guys have, I don't know, a rocket launcher that you just blew up in front of a box truck. Obviously knows that you're armed and dangerous. So he's trying to keep you at a reasonable distance and saying, hey, look, I'm just gonna pull out my weapon as protection.
Awesome.
I don't intend on using it. If you just get down on your knees. So he slowly, like he's very slow and not trying to hide anything.
Mantillo stands up. Suddenly, the dumpster lid crashes against the back of the building there, and she's gonna, I think she's gonna shoot him.
All right. You like no penalty. Like you're short range.
Viper is right behind him, though.
He is. So
seeing that it's your brother, you got no problem. Just I'm gonna pop my brother.
It's not my brother. It's some man who's. Oh my God.
57. That is a failure.
54.
So you miss him.
Yep.
Do you know how many X's I have on failed abilities? I have a lot. I want to be able to go up in everything if I survive.
So, given the lifting of the lid to the dumpster, screech.
No.
Yeah, and then the drawing of the gun and the shot that rings out and misses. He quickly is. So he is obviously distracted at this point. He turns around.
I love it.
Draws his weapon.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you missed, actually.
And he's
I'm glad you missed.
He's going to shoot.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I think that's the round for the most part. That was the surprise round. So, what is your dex?
I hate this question.
Yeah. That's right.
So
like
6.
10.
6. And then...
What you get for min-maxing, Lou?
I didn't min-max. I am hardcore, and I rolled. And that's how I got it. Straight up.
Min-maxer.
Okay. So Mantillo, you have you can go. It's your turn.
Oh, in that case, I'm gonna shoot again.
All right.
He's just whipping around. He's moving his gun towards me.
Yeah, he's like, thinking like so.
Yeah. So I think is there a thing where I can just keep shooting? What's the deal?
With the semi-automatic.
So this is a semi-automatic. Yeah.
I think with Delta Green, you just fire once.
That's what I think too.
Not the same as COC.
So it may be a narrative thing that she's boom, boom, boom.
Yep. There you go.
27. You hit him.
Way to shoot your brother.
No, he's not my brother.
Oh,
man, he turned to the wrong place. Is what he did.
Oof. That is gonna hurt.
Because I was shooting in the same place as the first shot, minus the kick, and he just turned right into it. She's gonna tell herself that for a long time.
Okay. All right. That is not what I want. I want this. Okay. You hit him. And he falls. He drops. to the ground.
And here comes Commando Viper.
Oh, half my work's done.
And he yells, "Ah!" And he's lying on the ground, injured, not moving.
Did he drop his weapon?
Maybe struggling against the ground, dragging himself with his elbow. His blood pours out of his body, stains the cement.
I want to grapple his arm.
Sam!
Is it my turn or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I step on his shoulder and I want to get the weapon out of his hand just to secure the scene.
All right.
And my next intention is literally to look at the badge or his wallet or whatever. Literally grab it while I'm trying to restrain him on the ground.
You are successful. This guy is really hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, Mantillo comes sort of holds herself over the dumpster and flips herself out onto the ground. She's running forward also. You basically do the same thing, but starting with his face. And I feel like she grabs his face and is literally trying to see if it's real.
I picture I step back while she does that to give her room, and I'm like flipping it open and looking to see what it says.
Yep.
And getting prepared to possibly show her.
Sure.
And she screams at him, "You are not my brother. You are not my brother."
Okay. So it looks exactly like your brother, except maybe 5 to 10 years older. And he's wearing a dress shirt, jacket, and he's got a Boston PD badge that's hanging around, which I think Viper has probably yanked off his neck. Yeah. And there's an identification in that badge holder, that back of the leather piece.
And everything I'm looking at looks legit.
Yeah. It says
what issue date am I seeing on this ID?
Give me a sanity check.
Yes.
You give me a sanity check too, Mantillo.
Oh, I thought that 8 was my sanity check.
Between the two of us, our sanity is great.
So you both succeeded. Okay.
Which is weird because we're both acting like we're nuts.
I don't know. And I failed last time.
All right. So it reads the issue date would have been 20. Oh, actually. Bear with me. November 1995.
Five, 10 years ago. No.
Does it have an expiration date or anything on it, or
on his police identification?
Yeah, well, whatever that identification was. So issue 1995. So
20 years ago.
And it says Lieutenant Jorge Perez, Boston Police Department, 7th Precinct. Then it lists out his height, weight, and his picture. And it identifies like exactly the guy that's laying there in agony from a bullet wound from his sister.
Mantillo turns towards the police cars, shoots blindly her last 3 or 4 bullets, and runs into the mall.
All right. Mantillo is gone. What are you doing, Viper? This guy's bleeding out. He's not dead yet. Sam yells one. You hear him yell for you one last time, Sam, is before you enter the mall.
She's got her hands over her ears with her gun in her hand. She's like, I can't hear you. Yeah. She runs in.
Okay.
This is crazier than when I was in the CIA in the Middle East. Over there, you didn't know who was who, but right now,
we don't even know who we are.
It's insane. I didn't shoot anybody, except for one possibly imaginary person on the inside.
I'm sure the police will understand that.
I think I need to slow the chaos down, and I am gonna attempt to perform first aid on him, or at least stabilize him or something.
Okay. Go ahead and give me some first aidness.
This is a problem.
Guys, I get a little dog out. I'll be right back.
Go for it. Yeah, his blood's pumping out of him.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. You're like, where is it? You're trying to find out where the wound is. Your hands are getting bloody. It's like, save my sister. Save my sister. She doesn't know what she's doing. She needs help. You all need help.
I pick up the bullhorn
that
he put down right next to him, and
Awesome.
I use it in the direction of the other officers.
Okay.
And I say, "Officer down. Call medical attention or medical help or whatever they do." And I put the bullhorn down, and I look at him and I say, "I will do my best, and I'm sorry." And I throw the badge back like on his chest.
Okay.
And then I go into the building.
Okay. All right. So you go in the building, you go back into the mall. All right. And then you hear sirens as you enter the mall. You hear sirens out into the distance. And you both enter the mall. Both give me alertness checks. Puppers. Good puppers. Wow. 56 failure for Mantillo and 90 failure alertness for Agent Viper. Fantastic.
This is insane.
Way to go, boys. All right.
Mark them for advancement.
Yes. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skills I have failed tonight.
So you go back into the mall. Are you like just within the entryway, or are you going all the way in?
Well, I go through the door. My pistol's right next to the door, and I also see, or at least I think I see Maya there next to the door. Is that true?
You do.
Yeah, Mantillo goes in,
hanging out,
shines a flashlight, sees Maya. Maya's definitely not moving, and she heads into that main store, into the mall.
All right. What about Viper? There goes Mantillo.
Viper's having a bad day. I realize there's nothing else I can do for Maya. We're officially at, we went past DEF CON everything and are now at FUBAR level.
Yep.
And I guess I'm just going to try to wrangle Mantillo so that she doesn't hurt herself.
That's what I was thinking too.
All right, Jorge's having a worse day, and Maya's probably having a really, really bad day. It's her last bad day she'll ever have.
Exactly.
It's true.
Never have another bad
She's
day.
at peace. She's at peace, motherfuckers. You guys have fun in there.
That's it. I grab my pistol and my bag that's right next to Maya, and run. I'm sure I can hear Mantillo footsteps.
Yep, she's jogging. She's not sprinting,
mall.
but she's
Yeah,
jogging
but yeah,
down
in
the
this
hall.
empty mall echoing.
Yep. Boom, 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 boom.
And I follow.
Her boots, heavy boots on the floor, on that tile.
And I'll yell out, Mantillo, wait. What are we doing?
Gotta get out of here.
There's nowhere to go. We're in the mall. They're going to have this place surrounded.
They're gone.
Are you still jogging, or did you stop?
I think she slowed down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that you catch up without any trouble. But she's still.
So
she's probably down to a walk, unless you like put your hand on her or something.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you're still just holding your empty pistol.
Yeah.
You unload it. It's just sitting there in your hand.
Yep.
Yeah,
you're reasonably safe.
What? Mantillo.
She stops and turns to you. What?
Whether you want to believe it or not, Jorge is out there in trouble.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's got a giant hole in him.
There is a man out there with a giant hole on him. Yes. My brother is not a police. He is not a policeman. He's a motorcycle mechanic, and a damn good one. He has never worked for the Boston Police Department.
I've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, we didn't join DG for the benefits.
You even remember why you joined?
Yeah, I thought it would be cool.
Yeah, you joined for the benefits, huh?
Yeah,
we had no idea what we were getting into.
No, I didn't. I mean, I literally was my job was watching and running traces on Jerry. That was my job. Same thing I did in the CIA. I said it was a piece of cake. It just kept me closer to the action, and it felt cool to be part of a, clandestine operation. I'm a risk junkie. That's what I like to do. I don't know why you're up for this, but there's some things I've seen and that I can't explain, and I'm sure you're in the same boat. And somehow, some way, that's your brother out there.
We might be dreaming. We might be in some made-up world. But you didn't know my brother. I knew my brother. There's no way.
So what's the plan?
I think we got to go in and go out the other side. They're all at the one end of the parking lot. Just get through the mall.
Mantillo, I don't know if that's the right action, or I don't know if this is going to benefit us at all.
I'm not going to the Dorchester house. Let me tell you that right now.
That was not the plan, but I am worried about you. And,
Thanks.
I don't need you ending up like Maya.
Yeah.
So maybe we just walk out of here and we figure this out, or we don't figure it out. Whatever it is,
that's my plan. But I don't want to walk out in the direction of the cops. That's all I'm saying. I want to walk out the other direction. If we keep walking, that's good.
So I imagine that we are walking and talking, and we're going to be coming to the center of the mall where the exploded fountain is.
So give me some stealth checks, because I'll imagine you guys are trying to do this in hushed tones and aren't completely unaware of your situation inside.
Good. I need this one higher too. So let's do this. Oh my goodness! Finally, finally. But does it even matter if
only one of us going down the mall?
Yeah, given Mantillo's loudness,
Well, I envision like I'm trying to be stealthy and she just doesn't care and it's just walking.
Right.
So I realized that
probably has enough awareness at this point to reload her gun because they've been talking for a while about sort of practical things.
I realized that she's not going to listen to me. We're going to walk whether I like it or not. And I don't think there's anything for me in that scene back there. So I am just going to... I'm going to dig in my bag. I'm going to grab the flashbang that I have in there. And I leave everything else. I leave the bag, whatever. I just grab the flashbang and I have my pistol in my hand. You know, with an extra, I take my 2 extra clips out, stick them in my belt.
As you're futzing with your bag and grabbing stuff,
I was just saying, then you jog to pick up, catch up.
Futzing with your bag, putting stuff in and out of it. You come across something that you probably didn't notice that was in there. There's a rectangular item in there, and you grab it kind of in passing, and it's a paperback book. But you're like, what the hell? And you look at it and you read the title of it, and it says Midnight at the Mall by Jerry Gladstone.
Yes.
Nice.
And
give me a sanity check, Viper.
Yeah. I know this one doesn't exist. I edited them all. What's the publication date?
Give me
to the first page.
All right, give me another sanity check.
Fine.
Ooh.
Okay. It says
that 100 was coming up.
It says August 2015.
Amazing.
That's good. He's going to keep making you even.
One more time, I flip to the end of the book, and I skim the last page.
Okay.
You've stopped. Like you're at your bag. You've got the book.
I was ready to go, and like I envisioned, I had everything, and then I glanced back at the bag, and I saw the book in there, and I was like,
"Yep." And Mantillo is just like walking down the mall, clunk, 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 clunk.
She's kind of a power walker, right? That's what I picture.
Yeah.
Harrigan's contribution to the session.
Yes.
He also bled.
I did
in a really profound way.
I did.
He set the tone for the mood of the session.
Yeah. It says and she walked down the empty walkway to the center of the mall. And then the couple pages that are ripped out.
So I toss the book on top of the bag, so it lands on the bag.
Yeah.
I envision the camera zooming in on the title, and it looks like the mall and the night and a silhouette of a truck outside of a mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then it pans back to me. I cock the gun and I say, well, let's write those last couple pages. And I follow her into the mall.
All right. I think we should end there.
That sounds like a good ending.
Sounds awesome. You're like forever.
What do you mean?
Oh, I love how silent Harrigan was. It's amazing.
So we cut to a a sunny day in Boston, in Boston, Massachusetts, and there's a grounds that looks plush green. There's a gate and a bit of a path upward. And there is a car that drives up this path. And it looks relatively familiar to those that have been viewing this series. And as the car moves up the path, it passes a little sign that says Dorchester House. The car parks. There's a figure of a woman that gets out of the vehicle and starts walking towards the entrance of the Dorchester House. It's probably 2 p.m, bright sunny day. Walks inside, signs, starts giving over her purse and some of her belongings as the security kind of inventories it, looks through it, and puts it behind the counter, and lets the woman know that these possessions will be here when she comes back, and say that the nurse will show you up to her room. And she nods. She appreciates it. And this woman goes with the nurse and walks down a corridor and comes to an elevator, and they walk in. The elevator doors close, and there is the lit button 3.
Our favorite floor. And
the doors open, and the person escorting the individual from the vehicle comes down to an open area. The hallway opens up quite a bit. And as she approaches, there is a woman sitting in what appears to be a wheelchair, looking out of the windows as the light trickles in. And the woman comes up as the nurse hangs back and walks up to this woman who looks a little older. And as a matter of fact, as we see all these things take place, everybody's wearing masks, surgical masks, N95 masks. Even the woman that's walking so as she comes off the elevator, she's masked. The nurse is masked. The security guard was masked. Small minor detail. And so the woman walks up and approaches the woman that's in the wheelchair, who is also masked. And she comes alongside of her and pulls a chair up to sit next to her. And she grabs her hand and she looks at her and says, she says, "It's me, Lupita. It's Ellie." And she grabs her hand, takes it in hers, and there's a small tear that kind of comes down from her left eye down her cheek as she looks out the window in the same direction as Lupita Kaneda is sitting there in her wheelchair. Time goes by. The woman gets up. Time lapses. She starts walking down towards the front desk where she entered. And she goes out, grabs her possessions, obviously a little distraught, sadness on her face. Quite a burden seems to be upon her. And she puts her things back in her purse. She gets from the security, walks out to her car, and sits down. And there's a newspaper sitting on the seat of the car. Newspaper is dated November 2020. And On the headlines, there is a blurb of a shooting of escapees from the Dorchester house had been taken place at a local abandoned mall with a they had there's you read the article and it kind of pages through it and lists Jerry Gladstone, known author, escapee from Dorchester House, with a psychiatric evaluation by, quoted by the doctors, had been killed in the shootout and confrontation out at the mall, Turville Mall, along with a formerly discharged Air Force veteran, Samantha Perez, along with her Lieutenant Jorge Perez, on duty from Boston Police, sent to de-escalate and negotiate, also dead on the scene as rescuers tried to basically apprehend the escapees. Moving forward, days later, Maya, you actually are a little bit more coherent. The news articles going, you get out of your room, maybe go to the same spot you like to watch, look through the windows. And you realize that there are, every once in a while, you'll notice that an individual comes to, kind of, given your condition, being a little less physically able from some of the wounds that you had been taken on, you they actually roll you out onto the grounds, kind of get some fresh air under orderly care. And as you see, an individual comes up and he's kind of trimming some hedges and doing some weed whacking and everything, and he looks over and he kind of tilts his head towards you, and you recognize him as Agent Mosby. And he looks at you and says, "Well, good afternoon. How is Lupita doing today?"
Lupita just looks up at him, tilts her head, doesn't say anything.
Well, not much for talking, as I see. That's not unusual. And he's wearing a mask as well. And as you stand there, a U.S. Postal Service vehicle pulls up the drive, right up to near the door. Gentleman gets out of the vehicle, goes inside. He's got a big sack, mail, goes inside, comes back out. The orderly says, "Hey, good to see you, Wayne." Yeah, it's like, "Hope you didn't bring any bad news or bills to us. We don't need any more." It's like, that's funny. Sorry to hear what happened last week. Tragedy. Indeed. All you can do is try, the orderly says. And he travels off, gets in his vehicle, drives down the driveway.
Mosby still with Lupita?
He's going to try to make conversation and realize you weren't much up for it, so he goes back to futzing what he was doing.
I think after a few minutes of silence where he's just working again, she will say something. And she's simply going to say, Did you know this would happen?"
He says, he looks at you curiously and says, "Did I know what would happen?"
She can't turn around very easily, but she kind of just looks back at the Dorchester house best she can. And then down at her body. Says everything. Did you know?
Looks confused, trying to make sense of what you might be getting at. And says, I don't know. I don't know. He just kind of shakes his head. More not understanding the context of your question. And as you, he kind of looks at the orderly, and the orderly bends down. He says, "Okay." He says, "Okay, Lapita, it's time for your medicine." And he got a little cup, a little thing of water, and he puts it down in front of you. And as he does, he's got his little name badge on his. It says De Jesus on it. And then we'll fade to black.
This has been a Litterbox Studio production.
Way less.
Where are all these landscapes? I was expecting rolling hills and like
our heads apparently.
Wow.
I'm willing to do a session like the next couple weeks and do a debrief of the scenario. That's up to you guys.
That'd be awesome.
Is that before or after we get to read it?
Either way.
No flipping.
Either way, you could like open it up now. I can even mention briefly like the ending part, but
sure,
I got time.
Yeah.
So I was reading.
Wait, before you go on. What the fuck?
What
the fuck? Now go on.
Okay.
11 months.
Ask the question. Now you can answer it.
11 months.
Yeah. So
what?
And I roll my 6. I just want to roll my 6 ability increases. That's it.
Once you guys read, with Lou. Wow. Okay. I wasn't a big fan of the ending of the whole shebang.
Okay. In Impossible Landscapes.
Right. Like okay. so the last
the published ending.
The published ending, the whole adventure, like what
First, I thought you were telling me what I did at the end. I was like, I didn't know.
Right. Sean starts a thought and then stops it.
Ooh, I didn't like your ending. What? I'll shoot something.
Yeah, no. So I was trying to think, given what is going on, what will happen. So I think
end Impossible Landscapes.
It wasn't must end. But
Edwin's like, is it over? Done.
Flush toilet.
I was trying to think of a way to end it that wasn't the same as the adventure for a couple reasons. One, I wasn't a big fan. And two, if you ever run it, you can make it your own. You don't know what the ending is.
I was going to say, it's like, how is there one ending?
How could you
even... there isn't. There's multiple. But this one, all this was mine.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All of it
was the whole mall?
No, the mall is in the mall is in the scenario.
And is there a chapter beyond this that we didn't do?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of. Okay.
Yes.
How do we get there? I don't know.
Right. Well, there is a way, but it was like, oh God. Okay.
If only I would have did the back up the truck roll, we would have had it. It would have been perfect.
It might have changed things quite a bit. Like we're gonna get in this thing and get the hell out of Dodge. But with the demise of Maya and the shooters in the mall, it was going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, I honestly, with the demise of Maya, I think like the air was out of our sails, right, Edwin? Like, that was
shit got real.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I wasn't sure because of the big explosion at the fountain whether it seemed to me odd that there would still be shooters hanging out watching the thing. So I wasn't sure if we could actually literally travel through the mall or not. But
I envisioned going back to the fountain
because those gates would have been gone.
I literally envisioned being shot up at the fountain.
I thought about that, but I was also thinking the gates probably got blown open. So I could actually have imagined just all through.
One of the things is,
but then what?
Is how you guys died. It could have been the police.
Right, we have no idea. Yeah.
Right. The strike team might not have existed, or they did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They would have surrounded them. They were there. We had no.
My goal, which with your guys, Lou, was that Viper and Jerry are one of the same person. They are the same person. Yeah.
That's what I assumed you meant because you said that Jerry escaped.
Jerry was the one who got shot. Right.
Yeah, was shot. So I figured that must have been
Viper. I was waiting for what you were going to say about Viper, and I didn't. And I was like, I guess there's something weird there.
I was thinking Jerry takes on the persona of this action hero when he escapes.
Right. Exactly.
Well, then my comment was good then when I said, all right, let's write the last pages of this book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Your book.
Yeah.
My book,
Jerry.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of it I took obviously some creative latitude, but much of the things that you guys had encountered through the campaign was, it was in the scenario. It's can be very sandboxy when you start wandering halls of the night world at Dorchester House and
at more than one location.
Yes,
it can be. Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing that I was trying to consider was, do I want to continue to do that again in the next chapter?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to you guys can read it. It's over as far as I'm concerned. And you can come up with critique. There's a huge chunk that you just
skipped.
I'd love to know how we skipped it.
No, that was in the first section, right before the fast forward 20 years.
No.
Oh.
No. So the night floors with Abigail and blowing up the McAllister building. That's every campaign, every actual play that you will listen to will get through that.
That ends up happening.
And then it stops, right? They don't go into the next chapter. Some have. I think the Lollygaggers have, but I don't know if anybody's gone through and finished the whole thing in an actual play. I haven't heard it yet. So usually it's even the Glass Cannon guys started it and then they're done after blowing up the McAllister building, and then some other stuff, it's kind of finished. So
we're awesome is what you're saying.
We are awesome.
11 months later, 20 sessions.
You go when you get to Exeter. There is much, much more with Exeter. So you guys just kind of whatever that guy, and then he takes off. There's a whole thing about that guy.
The second handler that met us.
Yes. Yeah. Much more.
India Moon or whatever.
India Moon. Yeah. Exeter. Who's that guy? And, part of it is, and I don't fault you guys. It is what it is. We could have probably tacked on another 3 months.
Right. Whole other 5-10 sessions. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have enough rifle grenades for another 3 months.
Well, you would have been Jerry at that point, right? If you would have followed him and started what's this guy about, and surveilling him, and then looking into his house.
That's the thing with any large campaign, right?
Yes.
If you try to run it, if you try to run it, then you're just shoehorning things in.
Yes.
So just let it go.
I was just going to say, and I expect we're going to find a lot of this if we read the adventure, Sean.
Yes.
I plan on skimming it. I don't have the time or the stomach to read the whole thing.
Right.
I don't think.
Sure.
But if they wrote like a whole chapter on when the PCs follow that dude,
yep,
dude, like 10% of players will follow that dude.
There was
Maybe.
one AP that did, but I didn't listen to it far enough. Like they started getting super paranoid, which I didn't know. Like I heard that before I read it, and then when I started reading it, I was like, God damn! And you guys, so it was like tailing him, going to his house, breaking into his house, figuring out like his patterns, and then all the other people at the Dorchester house, like they exist out in the world. So you would like, oh, I'd follow the guy with the bag, and then he does this
with the mummy bag,
and the
Right, and then we see him,
and all that. So it is a whole chapter on like all the NPCs that are from the Dorchester house and Exeter.
Yeah, well, we were very
outside of the Dorchester house, like
right.
Yeah, when we got out, it was like
it
was just for us to regroup, and we're like, all right, we're going back. Like we didn't even. There was no, hey, let's even think about that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, what other hooks would you have for the Exeter guy?
Well, here's the thing.
Want us to follow him.
Here's the funny thing. The irony is when I talked to Phil, McClory, who was at the beginning, and I was telling him about like, hey, I'm going to run this, but since Craig isn't available, I'm going to run Sweetness. Okay. So going back to Sweetness, I was telling Phil, like, okay, so the handler comes, right? He's like, yeah. And I said, now they're hung up on the handler. Like, where did he go? What's his license plate? What car is he driving? We need to track that guy down. Right after, like, he just shows up. He's got a little alcohol in his breath, gives you the briefing. And then he leaves. And Phil was laughing his ass off. He's like, oh, God, those guys. Because there isn't anything.
Yeah. But here's a whole chapter that's exactly that.
And
right,
we did
exactly.
Because last time it gave us nothing.
Right. So then
Exeter seemed less suspicious to us than Mosby did.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, that might have been a shortcoming of me because I could have played up his something's not right with him.
I was going to say not a shortcoming, but I could, when you were saying like 10% of the parties would go after him, it totally depends on how he's presented by the.
Yeah.
So but think about this for a second. We delved session after session into the India Moon thing. Maya called, did this, and we were getting details that, okay, this is fake.
Right.
None of this makes sense.
Right.
Who's real?
Right.
Not a real agent.
So we were pursuing that avenue,
concept. Right.
But we didn't
we didn't do it.
You're
physically.
only going to pursue something if you think you're going to get something out of it, right? And I guess we all believed, all right, I guess finding out that this is not real and that guy was fake was enough. But all of us going to this mall, I thought that was us figuring out that part.
So the mall piece is Delta Green going to kill you guys.
Okay.
So the whole, which
I didn't know till just now.
There is so much to the scenario that maybe, like, if you don't pick that up, like, oh, I missed that detail, it's, out of sight, out of mind. So one of the things is that Delta Green sends a Delta Green team in to investigate all this. They sent them to the Dorchester house because shit was going on and they wanted to know what was going on and they were suspicious. They lose a team at the Dorchester house.
The original people that we went there to look for.
A completely different team. Well, Exeter's fake. Exeter's
so all those people,
Exeter's plot is to get more people and serve them up to the King in Yellow, essentially.
Got it. Yeah.
So he's just making shit up, although he knows of the previous Delta Green. There are Delta Green agents that have been to the Dorchester house, right? Veterans. So Exeter and working with the doctor, he just concocts this story and somehow gets your information. I can't remember, but gets your information and gives you a fake operation to get you to the Dorchester house and then continue the downward spiral to the King in Yellow. And so you guys are like, oh, okay, we're not checking that guy, at least yet. You guys could have maybe ended up there. But once you call into Delta Green and you say, hey, we're checking out the Dorchester house, they're like, what are you talking about? And you say, well, this Agent Exeter put us on India Moon, whatever. And they go, there's no India Moon. Who's this Agent Exeter? They say that team has been compromised. We need to set up a time to debrief.
Thanks, Maya.
Find out get the info, and then we'll debrief at the mall. And then when they show up at the mall, we'll just eliminate them.
With our little silver and golden dancing children.
Right. You know, because we're
Delta Green has them on their side. Like, how does that work?
When as soon as you go to the Washington Square Park, and then you go into the McAllister building, you guys are
right.
You're in another world.
Yep, we are in an impossible landscape.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the night worlds takes over. So as soon as you experience the McAllister building at night, you're slowly getting closer. And the thing is with Carcosa is that it's on a elliptical kind of orbit. And sometimes you're closer to Carcosa and sometimes you are not. And sometimes you pass by gates. And so as this happens, there's a mechanic in the scenario called corruption. So if somebody tries to dig deeper and believe something that's going on, then they earn more corruption. As they earn more corruption, the sanity test that you take is the opposite effect. So if you fail sanity in the night floors, you're normal.
That's why you were just writing stuff down.
Yeah. Sanity. You failed.
But once we exited, and then
when you exit, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. And then you throw up all over yourself.
But at that point, what is essentially going to take place as you continue? So as you get this far along in the scenario, I know we're getting way into the debrief side, but as you get further along in the scenario, your connections and your bonds are all affected by you. You pass on all that king in yellow, the yellow sign, all that bullshit to your bonds. So they get roped into it. And so with Edwin's like sanity and always making sanity checks and disbelieving anything that he would see, I just throw his brother at him and have him kill him.
Which, yeah, it worked.
Because I'm like, he's going to kill him. So I'll just throw his brother in front of him. Oh, it's not my brother. Boom, bam, dead.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't.
It was.
Everybody wasn't anybody.
In the book, what happens, I'll tell you what happens. In the book, it'll say, so when you guys are on the run, there's a like certain days, like day 1, day 2, day 3. It'll say, now what? If they suffer any sanity loss or they have any interaction with their bonds, things start changing, which means like they'll show up in your apartment and they'll appear to be something else, or they'll appear to like
we were married.
Yes,
he's a cop.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the scenario, some of those were tweaked by me. But in the scenario, like your bond will be there, and they'll want to take you to Hotel Broadlebin, or they're going to Hotel Broadlebin, and they've got a knife and they're going to stab you. And you're like, well, I don't believe that's my bond, or it is, and I'm going to defend myself and I'm going to kill him. And then when you kill him, it is actually your bond and there's no sign of a knife.
Right. You're back in the real world with a dead body.
So the way I was starting to take it in the angle is you could easily say, well, once you're at the Dorchester house and then you leave, and especially if you wake up there, you could potentially say, oh, I get it.
That was a bad choice, by the way, that going to sleep at the Dorchester house.
When you guys did
that was not our best choice.
As soon as that was done, I'm like,
yeah,
that's going to be an easy one.
Well, I didn't see the clowns, and
right, nor did Maya,
for the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
interesting.
But at the end, I was going to try to tag all of the different, like even in the original in the scenario,
everybody who got,
everybody you've ever encountered. So spoilers, because you guys are probably going to read it. the end of the game, there's like 4 different, depending on what you do. But
4 end games.
Yeah. Well, do they do this? Did that? But at the end, it ends up being part of a play. So the curtain rises and there's the front of the McAllister building. And then the curtain in front of you rises and there's the audience. And all the audience is made up of everybody you've ever seen in the whole entire campaign.
Which is kind of what happened to us when we were at the theater. At one point, we were in the theater and saw everyone. Not everyone we ever knew, but we saw a bunch of people that we knew in the audience. Yeah,
right. But it's
one of the things that I thought was interesting, and I like in particular in scenarios like this, things where you're not sure about reality, is I think you did a really nice job of keeping a straight face when you either screwed up and changed reality without knowing about it, or you intentionally changed reality. I feel like there were obvious times in retrospect that you did it on purpose, and I think there were times when you just forgot you'd said something or changed your mind or whatever. And as a player and a character thinking about that, of having no grasp on which was which, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I remember you, Edwin, and I don't remember the specifics, but I remember like, wait a minute, you didn't say that before. And to me, it was like, it didn't matter. It just
it's more real now. Yeah, it's real now.
Right, exactly. Well, like exactly. And that, as I say, I mean, that's fun as a keeper to be able to be like, no, that's what's happening. Because I guess, what did I just run? The dream, the nightmares, the dream. Shit, what's it called? It takes place it's a dream study, Call of Cthulhu thing, and I was like, no, you're awake. No, you're asleep. You're walking down. You're walking down the hall. Okay, and it's kind of a fun. I think it was the most recent one was at the mall. Like, it was like, no, we made it to the doors, and like, no, you're at the truck. It's like, okay,
right.
So the real question is, how could we have won?
At the end, it's like there's a blurb.
Bad outcomes.
Yeah, I think once you start, you've lost.
Yeah.
There's winning in Delta Green. I know there is. It has to be in there.
We did win. That was fun.
We did win.
Oh, that's it. Yep.
Our characters lost.
Yeah, but we won.
All of them.
I don't know. I loved playing Jerry. Jerry's my favorite.
That was pretty fun.
If you guys would have surrendered, I don't like every session. I'm like, okay, I gotta kind of bone up on what's going on and what they're possibly going to do. And I would say at least 50 to 60% of the sessions, you guys would be like, fuck.
We juke at the last second. We're like, fine. Oh,
sorry.
Jerry walks into the Dorchester house. So in the book, if you go back in, I
remember your face, and that's the only time in 20 sessions when I did something, you were like,
what am I gonna? Yes,
you were just. I watched your face, and I was like, what did I just do? Because I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what I just did. Other people seem to have known when I went in.
Yeah.
Edwin's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Sean Stage is just like,
that's why I had the Master Sergeant show up for Perez. I'm like, okay, things are kind of chaotic. I'll just drop this guy out of the fucking blue.
Yeah.
Because
I
love that whole set of scenes outside of the McAllister house, or outside the
Dorchester.
Dorchester house when we went back. Maya did call it. Do you guys remember at one point where I said, he's like, I think we've been fucked up since McAllister house. I think none of this has been right since then, when she kind of wigged out about that.
So he was real too, and you were you as a keeper, you were expecting Mantillo to sort of roll in with him?
I had no idea. I'm like, he will.
Interesting.
The problem I was having with you, Edwin, is that your sanity was so high, and anything I threw at you, it didn't matter because you would just say, I disbelieve. You were the disbelieve guy, right? You're the AD&D, I disbelieve. There's an illusion? I disbelieve. And I'm like, how am I going to get under this guy's skin? So I'll doesn't matter. I'll just throw somebody who may be actually real. And then
you're not going to believe it.
If you don't believe it and you kill them, well,
because they were so unbelievable.
You go to deal with their bond. they're
not
dead.
there.
They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting because they were so unbelievable that it was hard to figure out. Because I think it was definitely there's a combination that we'd had a bunch of weird shit go down that was obviously untrue. The clowns, there were so many things that were fake in her mind, and then these other things that just were slightly more realistic but still impossible. Like, there's no way. This is obviously another clown. It's just a clown that looks like my brother.
I was trying to really I was really trying to angle these guys are escapees from an insane asylum.
Right. Yeah.
And whatever they think in their brains is what's real.
Right. For them.
For them.
Is there a moment when we get committed? Is it when we spend the night that we become patients?
Essentially, it essentially says that. Like they realize that they are now patients of the Dorchester House or prisoners of the Dorchester House. But it doesn't. So the wandering around the night floors, that piece is in the scenario. Like, so when you guys were like, we're going to stay overnight, and I'm like, well, now I don't have to worry about them going to it's like the same when you go to the McAllister building in the daytime. Nothing happens. It's the building. People are somewhat normal.
I don't think I ever twigged that it was after dark, that it got weird.
It's supposed to be after dark at night.
Yeah, we said it after we went up, and I was like, hey, it was only there at night, and then we went back and waited for night. So we definitely
for the smoking room. The smoking room was fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, but at the Dorchester House, and when you start tailing the people, it's not after you get. It's basically when it's evening you're at the Dorchester House. Then you've been touched kind of again by the Yellow King.
Once you're touched,
and as that progresses, it's not just at night anymore. That's when you start tailing some of these staff members, and they're doing freaking kooky shit. Like one guy, the bad guy with the freaking mummy.
With the kid mummy.
Yeah. He goes to like a trunk of an abandoned car in the woods, and he opens up the trunk and he walks into puts himself in the trunk, closes it, and he disappears. Because he goes down below into this it's almost like another plane.
Another realm.
Yeah. So it's a good scenario, but one of the things that I was also starting to get conscious of is I just didn't want to throw another night floor at you guys where you would wander around and then, this.
And honestly, on our discussion, I don't think that's what we wanted.
No.
Well, we were, I mean, the part was partly why
Edwin.
Partly why I think we went to the mall and we're pretty focused on the mall was that it seemed like we could progress things that way.
Sure.
We're supposed to meet people there, whether it's Delta Green or a trap or
get some
whatever.
answers. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Maya,
let's do it.
You guys remember after the cop fight by the Dorchester House where we drove away and we were on the run and all that. Yeah, that whole set of scenes is a couple of episodes, I think, or a couple of sessions were great. But Maya, from that point, Sean, was like, she was done investigating, actually. Yeah. Like, no more night floors, no more fucking going to the Dorchester House and asking questions and pretending we're on this, like, let's find out what happened. She was that became like on the run, like, what the fuck's going on, what's real and what's not. Let's go to meet up with Delta Green.
I like the dichotomy.
I don't think you had
because then again, that was Maya, right? And Mantillo is disbelieving everything. And then Jerry, exactly how I explained it that night, he was tired. He's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been writing these books. I've been having these dreams. I'm just tired. He was handcuffed on the ground, people getting shot. He's not that kind of guy. And he's just like, I can't do this anymore. I just cannot.
So tonight, when I was thinking about how is this going to go, I'm like, I knew that if I'm like, okay, how am I going to deal with Edwin? Not
stop
believing
the sentence there. No, just stop the sentence right there.
So what I thought
make his brother the cop.
I
How
would
am I
make
gonna
his
deal with
brother
my-
the lead
How
cop
am I
to
going to deal with my
negotiate
problem player?
and see what he does. I know he's going to shoot him.
And he did.
And so some of
I
those
knew,
checks,
he was going to shoot him. I'm like, this is going.
some of those checks I was having you guys do, I was hoping you would fail, but none of you failed. You're like,
What are you talking about?
I succeeded.
That's sanity.
Oh, sanity.
Sanity,
I was going to
yeah.
say, I have
Sand
6
checks,
failures
sand
right
checks.
You
here.
guys did not fail one sanity check. So every
Well,
time you're
again,
like, I look at his ID. If you guys, Edwin's like, I look at my clock and see what the,
Right.
the date is, and you
Yeah,
guys succeeded. If you would have failed, I would have been. It's
2020.
2020 during the pandemic. You guys
That's
have
interesting.
lost
Yeah.
like 5 years of time.
Yeah.
So that would definitely have changed, because she was thinking that maybe he had become a cop.
Yes,
That's why she checked, right? But
he did back in. I have it written down right here.
no. 95 is when the badge said.
1996
Yeah,
or 95. November 95.
95
You're right.
is what the
Yep.
badge said.
Well, no, you can make up whatever because it doesn't matter. It's
Well, it
But
does
if-
because I had it coincide with
Yeah.
your guys'
He was
experience at the McAllister building.
yeah,
Right.
you had November
Right, but
1995.
if like, I think the reason she was checking the date was if he had become a cop since 2015,
Yes.
she was going to believe that he was a cop. Like if she had looked at the thing and seen 2020, she would have been like, okay, we lost 5 years. Maybe he is a cop.
Right. Maybe he's
That-
real.
But because it said 1995, you're like, no.
But because it
he
said
wasn't.
2015,
I was there. Yeah. I was
yeah,
there.
it's 2015. It's like, okay, well, it's still 2015, and he's not a cop, and he's never been a cop. And then when the badge said from 95, I was like, well, no, that's definitely not true, because he fixes motorcycles.
That
Like,
would have
that's
been
not my car.
that would have been one slip that I probably should have fixed instead of, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
had a choice. I'm like, do I make
Right.
him a cop more recently, or do I do? Because my mentality was these guys have been lost
For decades,
since they hit the McAllister.
since 95.
None of the shit that they've ever encountered, because that's the premise of the scenario. The
Right.
real world is not the real world.
Right. So I think because she had experienced her brother as a not cop
Right.
like a week ago, right? Just recently.
You think, right.
Well, in her mind,
Yes.
she had experienced him as a not cop.
Yes.
So,
To make it better, I should have made, you're right. I should have made it like it's 2020. He's a police officer, but I was
Right, that
trying
would
to
have
go
messed
with,
with her.
I was trying to go the angle of everybody, all your contacts know you guys are insane.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
how
no, I
are
like
we-
it.
Are
like it.
committed.
At
Yes.
the end, at the end with Maya,
Yes.
that scene, are we watching that scene in the real world?
Doesn't
Whose
exist.
reference? Yeah, whose reference?
Exactly. None of it exists. See, she's right. None of it's real.
So,
I called. Paid the price.
did you?
I do
I
like
don't know.
that the one dead person is the one who lives. I think that's good.
Yeah. Disabled mentally and physically.
Right.
Nice cheery ending, Sean. Well done.
It was kind of easier with Jerry and Viper
Yeah.
and Mantillo. Like, we're going to go
died
into
in
the
the storm.
darkness. Yeah.
Storm and
Right.
bullets.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to him? Everybody can assume.
Yeah.
They could still be alive. Although,
Right.
because even though the newspaper says they're dead, who
Sure.
Flies.
fuck
We
knows?
don't trust the newspapers. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they made it out the other side. I like to think of it as I think they made it out the other side, but like, I don't know, 5 miles down the road, somebody shoots them.
There's a couple situations where they say if the agents do this, that like if they go back into the Dorchester house,
They're done.
they're done. And then there's a
Check.
couple. There's a
Check it
Yeah.
off the list.
yeah. The other one was that they could.
Yeah.
There's a big chunk that I didn't cover most recently, and that is the static killers. So the static killers are so a lot of it ties back to the McAllister building. But if you don't put 2 and 2 together, it doesn't make any sense to you, and you don't care. So the static killers are the guys in gas masks,
They
and
rub their socks on the carpet and then they touch you.
no, dude.
Yeah.
But you heard the fire of the 45 Tommy guns
Yes.
in McAllister. So
Yes.
these guys were
All
roaming
room.
around
on the night floor. Yeah.
on the night floors, right?
Yeah.
And so these
There's
guys
the
wear
blood
like
in the
heavy
gym.
overcoat, gloves, combat boots, 1940s style gas mask, completely obfuscates the face. So it's like these weird World War I, World War II in this case, like trench coat soldiers. Yeah. And what they do is they chase you and they chase you and they chase you and they chase you and they chase you.
Like all like in reality and out of reality and like all over the place.
Yeah. Like there's a point where like the static team shows up to drive you to the Hotel Broadalbin. And then the Hotel Broadalbin
What is the Hotel Broadalbin?
Yeah, you mentioned it.
You mentioned that a couple times.
We never saw it, right?
The history of like, okay, I'm not going to get into all the details, but we can get into them like the next time we talk. But I'll say this: you know how dense the handler's guide is on the history of Delta Green?
Yes.
It is the same for the scenario as it relates to the King in Yellow. It goes back to 30 something, or even the 1800s, where some fucked up person in France comes across this thing, and then it goes on to something else. There's an entire timeline.
So like 40 pages of lore or whatever.
Yes.
Just around that piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. As a matter of fact, it's so bizarre. Like, you guys did not investigate the McAllister building in general, like who owns it, who manages it. Like there are people that you meet that are related to people 100 years ago.
Oh God.
Yeah. And you would never be able to put 2 and 2 together, because you just go, it would have to smack players so hard in the face. It wouldn't even be subtle. Like, so the woman that manages there's an art house that manages the McAllister building, and it like talks about the origins of the McAllister building, what it was, who bought it. So one of the guys, Darabandi, was one of the people that owned the McAllister building back in the day. And I think Asha Darabandi was also the guy you guys met who killed 15 kids and drowned them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Because he mentioned about the kids. And so there's that component. And the guy that the sales guy, right? He's back in the day and he got touched and blah, 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 blah. And it's just this.
In the end, I think it kind of is what it is. Like, it's this magnificent work of disconnected, non sequitur, like everything in the shit. What's the name of the insane asylum? Dorchester House. Like, it's really hard to not engage with that stuff. And there's all sorts of different personalities and people, and none of it leads anywhere.
Well,
you know,
I think the right way to interact with this, like I was saying before, on any large, like 300, 400 page adventure campaign that's out there, right? You're not going to do everything in there.
No,
it is a giant campaign that
we did it. We did what.
But I'm just saying, yeah, it gives you. The way I look at it is, there's a giant, I don't know, chart, and it just gives you a million different lines on it. And we took this line to this line to this line, and that is how we made our way through this entire thing of detail.
Yeah,
and there's not right or wrong. I mean, you could never do all of it. It doesn't even make sense to do all of it. Right. So that is the path. You know, it probably looks like a butterfly path the way we did it, just all jerky, skipping this one. I don't know.
One of the things that I think is interesting about this scenario and a few Call of Cthulhu scenarios that I've played is they really seem to push the mood, the feelings, whatever it is, onto the players. So like in some games, what your characters are doing and experiencing is pretty separated from what the players are feeling and experiencing. But in some games, so I think like in this game, I feel like as players, we were as disconnected, confused as our characters were. And I've definitely played Call of Cthulhu games where the nihilism is felt by the players, because that you just, as you're playing the scenario, you just feel like there's nothing matters, nothing you can do. And that's sort of an interesting take on the, where's the game, what is it doing, and what's it
I know what you
for?
mean. Some Call of Cthulhu games are like, I'm playing a gangster, I got a Tommy gun, and I'm gonna kill the monster. And then
Right.
this game had like bleed.
Right, exactly. Yes, this game was all about bleed,
Yeah.
in the psychological side, and I think, yeah, and that's an interesting, like, it's a tough thing to do. It's not something I'm sure that I want to play very often,
Right.
but I do. It is exciting in some way to do that.
I think having played it, you guys would run it much, much better because of the experiences that you've had and the things that you would
Same with you.
take.
You've seen the angles.
Yeah, but I haven't played it.
Yeah.
So my immediate takeaway after this debrief is stop trying to put all the pieces together and just follow a trajectory, whatever it is. If it's, and that's what we did. Like it was like, let's go to the Dorchester house. This is our main objective. Everything else on the side, whatever. Let's just focus on this and follow that story. And then when we got to a point where we're like, all right, we don't want to do this anymore. Let's go follow XYZ guy, or let's go do this, or let's regroup at the bar. Exeter, like you said, all right, we didn't go after Exeter. We thought about it. We did a couple things. We're like, you know what? We didn't want to do that anymore.
That's how I played almost every game I play. Literally, I'm almost always just sort of like, oh, it seems interesting. What do I want? I'm very much playing to explore as opposed to playing to solve the problem or whatever it is. Although I do like some of the solving problem stuff too.
You think about it. Like, we could have even done more of the Exeter stuff. I mean, we only spent one day and one night at the Dorchester house before like the wheels fucking blew off, right?
Right.
And when we couldn't find each other the next day,
yeah,
that set in motion the last like 6 episodes of like violence and shooting and the mall, all because we couldn't find Mantillo.
Right.
That's how we went back to the Dorchester house.
Yeah.
We're like, is she still in there? And we weren't really in control, and neither was you, Sean, of the pathway from there forward. We weren't investigating. We weren't pulling threads. We were just like surviving.
Yeah.
From there.
If in the goal, so when that happened and you pulled up, I'm like, I'm gonna have the orderlies.
Yeah, come on in.
Like, you guys are escapees, and I'm gonna try to get you back in. And escapees, legitimately, or just I'm a guy from the night floors and it's night and I'm going to try to get you back in.
Right.
To the madness.
Yeah. So one of the best moments I thought in the whole game was when you gave us the wrong doctor name when we were at the gate.
No, I gave you the one I wanted.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I mean, from our perspective, it was
not
the wrong
one
name.
we were expecting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And we had to decide to go in or not. Like, that moment was like gold. Like, oh fuck, what would these characters do?
Yeah.
That whole set of scenes was great.
I remember the silence when I said his name, Dr.
That was when reality
you guys were
fell
like,
off.
You stop. You like, okay.
No joking. No.
Yeah. And then it's like, Dr. Friend.
No, because right there it was like, put on the brakes.
Yeah.
Are we doing this? Like,
it totally was.
No, we're like, I'm not happy about this anymore.
Well, I wanted that to. I mean, not only did I think it would be. Well, first of all, that's what would have happened because it's at night, and you guys would have been doing that. Had you gone during the day, it might have been the other doctor. But regardless,
I never put that together.
Yeah.
But yep.
Yeah, and everybody's all mad, all of them. They're all doing crazy, goofy shit. Like, even the doc, like when they took you up there, and that's another thing. So when you guys are talking to the bag, talking to the bag and the mummy, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. The psychiatrist will just be like, well, it's really odd. That's strange. Yep, we'll talk to him. Like, playing it off like you guys are completely bonkers.
Yeah.
I failed my sanity check.
Even Harrigan and Maya was like, why do they think this is kind of normal?
Right. Yes.
I didn't know why Maya thought it was. I know why Jerry did.
Jerry's passing
idea why
notes to dude and like get the pizza.
Dude, that was weird. I don't know what I was doing, but that was just... I was just going my gut. I'm like, all right, Jerry's here. He's a little funny. He's not, again, he's not.
If I remember correctly, Maya kind of denied it for a while and then went like all in on like getting in its face, like you little fucking mummy.
Jerry was on autopilot after a couple sessions. I think you guys all realize it. Like, you two with a kick ass and take names. Jerry was clean up the spilt milk guy. He was just like,
so badly.
I just need to
give him the back seat.
Yes, I forgot about all that. Putting the window up to him, put him in the back seat.
The back seat,
all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that we would have survived. I would have survived the game as a player without Jerry. I think that was.
It was good. No, we all, that whole dynamic was pretty good. Sean, did you enjoy the characters? You had to.
Oh, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They were real people. Like, they were real. Yeah. We all played them. We stuck to our guns, even though so many times I wanted to kick Mantillo in the shins. But hey, you played her and you stuck to your guns, and that's who she was. There was no one ever going, oh wait, Edwin's playing Mantillo different today. No, it's Mantillo. And when I come in with Jerry and he's doing stupid shit and buying donuts for the stakeout because he's like, oh cool, I want a stakeout. Like, that is Jerry. Like, that is what he's gonna do.
Oh my god,
that's how it's gonna be. Great. I'm glad he gave up. I think that was my favorite part. I know he was gone at that point, but I think we needed that as the team. That was the oh shit moment. Like, what is happening?
Agent Viper is actually taken out of the book. Like, not actually, is he Agent Viper? No, that the name is yours, but
I came up with like
from
I magically
he is it. Yeah, he is from the prior Delta Green team.
The one that went missing.
So there is a Viper in
and
the
there
book.
was there is a portal that they ran into in a hotel, and I don't know if it wasn't Broadalbin, but another hotel that they had, and there was a particular room. And here's another thing. So you guys would be like, oh, this like 1990, 1980 cell phone. Oh, let's fucking destroy that. And I'm like,
yeah, dude, what was
damn
that?
it.
Let's find the golden bug inside and not like, whatever.
That thing would have been like, so in another team, which you could have like encountered, that phone talks to like different, like it would just randomly ring and tell you, like I could have fed you everything through that phone. Everything.
If we hadn't destroyed it.
If you hadn't destroyed it. You open it up. It literally is like, if you open it up, it's rocks and pebbles and the phone's destroyed. I'm like, well, there goes that fucking shit.
Yeah. Mantillo was literally like an ape. It was like an ape looking at it, like banging it. Like,
we destroyed that immediately.
Immediately.
That was great. Awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah. Didn't even give me a chance to like.
I was gonna say, Sean's like, I'm gonna make it ring, and then I'm gonna. You do what now?
Yeah.
Okay. You destroy it.
You mean you took it apart? Yep.
Wow.
I was gonna have the guy you sent the bug. What's his name? I was gonna have
that guy down in Florida.
Yeah.
Reefer Rick.
Reefer Rick. I was gonna have Reefer Rick show up with the bug.
I can go back to session 10 and pull up Reefer Rick that fast.
Yeah.
University of Florida knows all about bugs.
Yeah.
I text him a pic of the bug and leaf to pass it around campus to other professors.
And then you guys were at one point. You guys were like, I said, well, "Okay, you're out of gas, so I'm gonna go get gas."
Eating breakfast with Maya and Mantillo.
Yeah.
Mantillo says, "I got a bag of dirt." And we put it on the table while we're eating.
But at one point, when you guys
I got a bag of dirt from this phone. It's just a bag of dirt.
I think when you were going back to the Dorchester house or something along those lines, I was asking you kind of silly questions like, okay, what are you going to do? I'm going to stop and get gas. How do you pay for it? And you're like, with credit cards, Sean, duh.
And my coffee, you did that.
Yes, too. And your coffee. That was in the sole purpose of going, okay, so they use a credit card here.
We can get tracked.
Yep, and I was going to track you down. And it would just be like, yeah, they
become the authorities.
I don't pull it out of my ass. There's an actual.
I actually wrote down why Mantillo took apart the phone. So it says, Mantillo has satellite phone checking the internals to see if some of the internal parts are not factory.
Yeah, she was looking for a bug. Yeah, she was
trying to
looking
make
for.
sure it wasn't factory.
She was looking for a bug. She was sure that people were trying to, because this was the thing that got taken, that we took off the wall.
I think Exeter gave it to us.
No,
oh, that's right. That's right. Victor gave it to us. Victor, yeah, I thought it was a tracking.
But if you would have
sure
used that phone, like those two things would communicate with each other.
Oh,
that's
right,
why I
the
think
other
at
phone.
one point you guys were talking, Maya, when you were at Dorchester House and you were
in the elevator.
The elevator, yeah.
Yeah.
The phone in the elevator.
In the nighttime.
Yes.
The phone in the elevator.
Yeah,
and you heard Jerry or yourself on the
elevator. Yeah, something.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, there's all, dude, you guys read this
we
thing.
Played for a long time.
Yeah.
We played scenes. I'm gonna rephrase that and say we played for enough time. Don't know if I can handle it anymore.
Must have been like what, 20 sessions?
Yeah. It was session 20.
Yeah, exactly 20.
It's 20 sessions.
11 months. So, Sean, did you think it was going to happen when you planned? We're going to play Impossible Landscapes, the entire thing, and you set this whole thing up 11 months ago. Be honest. Did you
like
think
18 months ago?
You think it was going to get to 20 sessions and finish?
Did you even think we'd finish? Because remember, we didn't know how long this would go.
I was worried more about myself. Long campaigns for me, I could be like.
Is it interest level? I mean, we all have that. I mean, I even have it in my own.
To some degree. And frankly, this one was interesting because of you guys and the player. Like, if I had a different group, I might have been done after 7 or 10.
Well, you definitely had dedicated people,
right,
who were playing in other countries, like all different times.
Right. But even, like getting into it and absorb, like some people could get like, I'm kind of done wandering this fucking hallway. Like, fuck this shit,
Yeah, you could have even gotten people who are like start killing each other and all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
Right. I don't believe you're real either.
Right.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah. I shoot myself. Huh.
Yeah. I half expected Perez to do that tonight. After she killed her brother.
I thought for sure she said
brother. I thought she was going to kill herself.
Yeah.
Herself. Well, she did. I mean, I think effectively she did.
I mean, it was the walk. It's like, the police standoff. Yeah,
right. It's like either she's going to get shot by the guys up on the thing, or she's not. But she's just walking.
Spaghetti western, like bell is ringing at the end of the movie, and the hero's just walking into the last gunfight. You know what happens?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about something awesome from session 6. The antique black and white pornographic book with Agent Maya in the buff.
Fuck, what
that was good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think
that Jerry kept.
I love going through my notes. I'm so glad I take notes during these.
And there's some of those things where it's like, well, if I made it up or if it's actually in the book there. I think that one, like, so the room is full of books that are pornographic in nature and weird and old.
And one of the characters appears in them.
And I do think it says one of the characters. I can't remember. I might have thrown you in there purposely, but I don't remember.
I do have more notes on that pornographic book. Book with strange contraptions and people in masks and strange sideshow freaks.
Yeah, the masquerade.
That's how it was explained.
And Maya.
I wrote it down. And Maya.
Oh, dude.
I mean, if you feel like you want to run it, you got to really set it up with the players.
I think we should have. I think I just found foreshadowing in session 3 that Mantillo is going to rip that phone apart, because it's session 3, in like darker pencil than the rest of the pencil on the page.
They're loose pressing hard.
It says SCR2 walkie-talkie ripped off wall by Mantillo and gets injured from the acid. That should have been foreshadowing.
Battery acid.
Just going to be like, give me that.
Yeah, you failed to check on that, Edwin. There was a history lore, military history thing check, and it would have told you like what era it was from and who manufactured it, and that could have taken you to the manufacturer of this. It's crazy, like all kinds of crazy shit.
All that's in the book.
Yeah,
she is not an investigator of the intellectual sort.
No, it's great.
That's definitely not her forte of doing things like knowing who the manufacturer was and thinking about going to talk to them.
Agent Mosby, quote, Session 4, I bagged the cheese from the refrigerator.
Cheese from the fridge, yeah.
I bagged the cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good times.
All right, I gotta go.
Guys, awesome.
Thanks for playing. It was very good. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm glad we finished. Like seriously,
I'm glad we did. Glad we played. Glad we finished.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
Adios.
I'm sure we'll talk.
Yeah.
So.
See ya.